So, before anyone says anything about being a Leafy clone because I have Surf in the background, I'm sorry, I find it fun playing CS2 Surf. Be mad about it. But today we're talking about Keffals because she decided to open a GoFundMe, which was supposed to be used for legal fees, but she ended up using it as like a non-payback loan for splurging on like the most random things ever, like vacations, clothing, more streaming gear, and then lying to her audience and everyone else about it. So basically we're taking a look at a pathological liar.
People were so gracious, they came together and they helped me out. And while I really respect it, it's brought a lot of people to do the QAnon brain bullshit about me, where they're saying I'm stealing money from my fans.
I don't know how it's this common that people are just able to go back on their words so quickly and are just able to just hyperactive defend themselves so much to the point where it just creates evidence against them. I find it so funny. Like, you're trying to accuse other people of saying that, oh, they're just trying to paint me in a bad light. They're just trying to do some tinfoil hat theories against me. But then you yourself won't disprove it at all. And you actually go on to such incredible defense measures. It's so funny. I don't know how people are able to do it so often. And the best part is, whenever she's like being asked, hey, how's the money being used? Any updates on the situation? She'll respond with memes, which in my opinion, completely unprofessional and doesn't actually, obviously answer the question. And like I said, all the money that was supposed to be used for legal fees ended up being a splurge. She ended up having money for streaming gear, vacations, rehab, drugs, without even consulting a lawyer yet about the actual thing that the money was raised for.
But now I'm going to be focusing more on the legal things because I'm settled down, I'm back in Canada, and I have time to work on this now.
Like, how do you only have time now after you spent so much of the money on clothing, streaming gear, vacations, rehab, drugs, all of that stuff? How do you only have time for what the money was actually raised for now after you spent more money on other things that weren't supposed to be splurged on? And the worst thing is, if you tried to criticize her or talk negatively about her, she would just call you transphobic or homophobic, and then send a bunch of idiots after you saying, oh, you're being transphobic against Keffals. I was like, you don't even, like, for example, I'm not transphobic, and here I am insulting Keffals. Now, I guarantee you, a bunch of, like, the LGBT community would be like, oh, Yin, you're not getting her point. Rah! Like, I don't care. She's just being a complete dickhead. She's being a fraud, and she's also, like, a massive fucking idiot. Besides, there's not even a fucking point that she can make to argue for. It's like, oh yeah, if you criticize me because I'm trans, you're transphobic. It's so fucking backward. It's like, what? And now we get to the point where one of her past editors leaked a group chat screenshot of Keffal literally admitting how she spent the money. She said, quote, feels really bad watching the GFM deplete. The rest will cover a year rent and my psych fees if I talk to psychologists once a week for the next 11 months. Ellen tried to comfort me, reminding me it was an emergency fund. I keep trying to think of how it depleted so fast, and it's just so many little things. Travel and replacing furniture and helping my friends out and buying new streaming gear and clothes. If anyone finds out how I spent the GFM, I'm going to get cancelled. Anyway, sorry for venting, I'm gonna go now. I'm still heading to Dingle, lol. Like, what did you expect to happen? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna vent about my twisted morality and like my sheer audacity to just use all the money that my fans so graciously gave me and then use it for something that they didn't even give it to me for. It's like, what the fuck is that? Like, bro, it's so twisted. And one thing I completely forgot to mention, I completely left it out, I'm sorry, but she also wanted to raise the money to try and move away from like a dox location and move somewhere safer, while also proceeding to then tweet and stream where her live location was. So she's just asking to get doxed by herself. Not to mention, she didn't only just move away for that. She didn't care. She wanted to move away to get away from her ex.
And there was a criticism that I frequently got throughout that time. How does moving to a different country help you with online harassment? And as we found out, it didn't. And the truth is, I left the country because of my ex.
I'm willing to argue this and die on a hill arguing it. The only good thing that Keffals did with the money was file a Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario on April 10th, 2023.
The reason they decided to go with the Human Rights Tribunal rather than a lawsuit is because the Human Rights Tribunal has unique powers that a civil suit does not.
The reason I ultimately decided to go through the Human Rights Tribunal rather than a lawsuit is because the Human Rights Tribunal has unique powers that a civil lawsuit does not. All I would be getting is money. I am pushing for police body cams. Papers have been processed and we are waiting dates to appear in the tribunal. I'm told this could take a minimum of 2 years at best and 6 years at worst, depending if it gets escalated to a higher judicial body. Now it gets even worse, like I'm talking a lot worse, like I'm talking so bad it's unbelievable. Imagine donating money to a GoFundMe to help someone that got doxxed multiple times to dox more people. Now if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically Keffals likes doxing people as a hobby. That's enough of me yapping. I'm gonna put Boredom Bandit on the track here to finish off this video, and if you haven't seen him yet or subscribed to him yet, I highly suggest you do. Go check out his channel, go send him some support, some love, and yeah, I'll see you all at the end of the video.
Hi Ian, thanks for having me. So I have only talked about Keffals one time. I know there's like a lot of controversies per se with showing kids how to get estrogen and like using donations for the sake of drugs. But now she's in the controversy of hating on a person named Just a Worm, so I'm glad to see that she is now everyone's punching bag again on the internet. Keffals saw that the artist that makes this type of stuff named Just a Worm made a picture about them, and apparently it was controversial because she looked too masculine and was over-exaggerated, which they were all over-exaggerated. And, you know, I'm not exactly some rich snob that drinks wine and tries to over-exaggerate details on poems I see, but, you know, I can tell what's the intent behind something. Just think of his art style as Meat Canyon or Felix Colgrave. It's supposed to be weird. You think it's weird? Good, that was the intent. That's what the artist wanted to show you. Okay, I don't know this person, but apparently a person by the name of Denims tried to make a video defending them, and this is the clip.
It really is just a style. Here's a couple examples. Okay, so here's the thing, right? This isn't a defense. If I call all of my friends, I'm like, you are engaging in some real tomfoolery, in some real baboonery. I can say that as many times as I want. I'm not making that joke about one of my black friends. Because now it's fucking insane. And now it's objectively just racist.
That is a stupid fucking argument because it's not just Keffals. We also have Tipster, we have Sniper Wolf, and hey, we even have Mustafar. Also, she tries to not look racist, but she ends up being racist because she's treating people differently because of the color of their skin, not adding them into the joke. If she was like, oh, I call my friends crackers sometimes, but you know, I can't call them the N-word. But that's not it. You're basically excluding it out of the joke, which I would argue is racist. People use the term racism, woke, and Nazi so much that we lost the definition of it. The definition of racism is treating someone differently just because of the color of their skin. That would include this. So just kind of a bit of a nothing burger, but I think that Keffals' drawing is 5 times better than Tipster and Sniper Wolf. These things are fucking monstrosities and 10 times over-exaggerated. Why isn't Just a Worm being accused of being fatphobic or sexist? Keffals also did that thing that people on the far left usually like to do. Not hate on religion and immediately demand for equality. The other thing, you know, call people Nazis. It's just such amazing comebacks and I genuinely love reading them. Thanks Ian for having me on your channel. Until then, bibbity boppity, your mother's my property.
Thank you, Boredom, for being on the video. And with all that being said, this is the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all had a great day. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one. See you, losers.
Down on myself, hope you're doing well. I've been honestly going through